Damn you! God damn you all to hell!
Travis Wayne Goodsall. Noticed both Google and YouTube are upset over the decision the other day that they violated antitrust laws, taking it out on the users of their system rather than taking it out on the government, doing an insurrection, cyber terrorist coup on the government. Nope, they come after us, proving they're the good guys, that they were innocent all along. It's like when you tell a Mormon they're wicked, they prove it to you. Mormons should be hiding in shame and disgrace and humiliation. Mormons have been exposed as suckers and losers. With the coming of 23rd September 2017, everybody on YouTube was posting videos about its connection to Revelation chapter 12. However, they only knew that it was associated with verses 1 and 2. They didn't realize that verse 5 was connected to it. I'm the only one who figured it out, thanks to the Book of Mormon. Mormons had the inside track to knowledge, and you wasted it. This is what I have never understood about my people. I was born and raised in the covenant. I too was told Joseph Smith is our founder. I too was told the Book of Mormon is our keystone. And so because I was raised in a strict alt-right Nazi Mormon family where both parents serve missions, I was literally obedient. When the prophets tell us to study the scriptures, and they came out with the new quad footnoted with the Bible dictionary and topical guide, I studied my scriptures. I was literally obedient. I didn't create a guideline to not be obedient, to make excuses. I didn't make excuses to claim ignorance, saying, well, I'm not wanting to apostatize, so I'm not going to study my scriptures. I don't want to get involved in deep doctrine. I just want to focus on the basics. And all that crap I've heard over the generations. Dear God. Excuses, excuses, excuses not to know Mormonism. And knowing Mormonism is more than just living your life having membership in the church. Just sitting in sacrament meeting, Sunday school, priesthood and relief society until they did away with the third hour under Nelson. Yeah, Mormonism is not couch potato Mormonism. You've got to be actively engaged in Mormonism to claim to be a Mormon. You've got to know your scriptures. You've got to know why there are extra scriptures above and beyond the Bible and be able to explain it. You can't just quote one-liners to other people as a parrot, a puppet. You have to know for yourself so that you can explain it to other people. Because if you're just parroting what the prophets or your Sunday school teachers told you to say, people are going to not feel good about that and not want them to believe you. They aren't going to join the church. You need to know. And yes, you can fool many people by just crying in front of them, demanding that they validate your feelings, that the church is true. I guess there's a sucker born every minute for that one, but the church is not supposed to be a circus. You do know that's Barnum Bailey that came up with the quote. See how I used that? And so, right there at the beginning of the Book of Mormon, all Mormons had advanced knowledge if they just studied. But the church doesn't want you to. The church doesn't want you to know this information, and so they do not put it in our manuals. They do not put it in the lessons. It is skipped, it is ignored. And nobody's figured it out. And so it took me, and I found a video that I had made on YouTube on this channel 10 days before 23rd September 2017. It was my first attempt. I think it's the music video that I did. I made a music video. And so, yeah, it was back in the primitive days where I'm still trying to figure things out. And I'm not that much better now after all these years. New technology is a pain in the butt to figure out. I can't just press a button and have it all work out perfectly the way I want it to. I still, to this day, cannot figure out how to get frames, whether pictures or videos or GIFs, to show up while I'm doing a video, because that would be perfect. It's exactly what I'm looking for. So when I'm explaining Paleo-Hebrew to you, boom, a pop-up of what I'm talking about. Samson and Paleo-Hebrew, Sun King. The N is a suffix determinative. Technology is not simple enough for me to figure that out. But regardless, it's about my message, not whether you're entertained. But this couch potato Mormonism is carrying over into your viewing of videos, even my videos, where people are not interested in learning. They just hear things, and that's where they regurgitate what they hear rather than actually knowing things. And so too many people ask me questions about what I think about other people's videos. I don't care. They're not the authority. They're wrong. I'm the authority. Why aren't you watching my videos and learning from them? It's because that's not how you do things. You've been programmed incorrectly. And you don't see the danger in all of this. But at least people were able to make the connection because one person besides me figured it out. Technically, only the one guy is legitimate. Everybody else, in the 9 pictures that I show for the thumbnail picture that I've already made, all ready to put up, had gone over with you. That 23rd September 2017 is a direct match for Revelation chapter 12 verses 1 and 2. And they have no clue where anything else is. The one guy who figured this one thing couldn't figure out any of the others. But with the Book of Mormon, with Joseph Smith's translation, with my education at the University of Lethbridge, I was able to find everything else. And it's as factual as this, that everybody else knows for just this one passage. This one sign in the heavens given by John the Revelator, the author, technically, of John the Revelator. And so, I've never understood this about Mormons. We had a major advantage over the rest of the world to let our light shine and blind everybody, whereas everybody else is concerned that women will cause us to go blind. We as Mormons could have blinded them with the truth, not this fake blindness of women. So, as you study your Book of Mormon, you get to 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 4. And the church refused to put it in the footnotes. They refused to put it in the manuals. This was the 16th of March, 597 BCE. And there's a reason why. It's because of the birth of Jesus that's causing this problem. Because despite the Book of Mormon saying that 600 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem, Jesus is born, not understanding this from the Book of Mormon, you get section 20, isn't it? Yeah, the rise of the Church of Christ. Oh, whoops, that's a typing error. We need to insert Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In these last days, being 1,830 years since the coming of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in the flesh. Oh no! Book of Mormon is false. Joseph Smith just corrected the Book of Mormon. We just need to correct him on the name of the church now. It's a good thing Willard Richards corrected Joseph Smith's 1838 visionary accounts. So many errors in that one. I don't know why. Joseph Smith had plenty of time to edit it. All the time in Liberty Jail after making it. All those months to edit it. Make sure it was right. Nope. Still published it in 1842 with all those errors that after Joseph is dead, Willard Richards finally corrected. Nobody catches on. And so, this is where the church must have it as 1 CE. No other date is allowed because of this stupidity over this interpretation. This was the way they designated years. Why do we call it 2024? The same reason Joseph Smith is saying 1,830 years. It's the same reason. Because of Constantine. Oh my hell. This is the greatest stumbling block ever. And so yes, this causes problems, not just with the Book of Mormon dating, which is why Bruce R. McConkie put in about 600 BCE. Because now if you go to Matthew, you have to deny science. Because in chapter 2, Jesus is born, 1 AD, 25th December. Oh, no, Mormons know better. It's the 6th of April, 1 CE. Because that's what Joseph said. Oh my hell. But here you have wise men coming to Herod, who's in charge of Judea. And so this is 1 CE because of Constantine. But Herod died in 4 CE. BCE, sorry. BCE. He's dead already. Oh crap. Well, obviously the facts are wrong from science. He didn't die in 4 BCE. And so we've got to fix science and rewrite it for our school kids to force them to learn Bible, Christian interpretation. Except in Utah, it's non-Trinitarian Christian. And so we have to have Herod dying after 1 CE. And the sad thing is that you don't understand that this was written after the temple was destroyed. 9th Ave has already come. Those who read this document back in that day after it was written knew that the Roman Empire destroyed Jerusalem and the Jews and their temple on the 9th of Av, 70 CE. And so maybe he just didn't understand that it couldn't have been Herod. That it was somebody else after him. God. And you have no clue that Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king is the 23rd of September 2017. If it's in John's Revelation chapter 12, it's there in chapter 2 verse 1. Because in chapter 1 he tells you it is. Because he quotes Isaiah, where John got it from and expanded upon it. Isaiah's prophecy of a sign in the heavens of Virgo pregnant with Jupiter giving birth is 23rd September 2017. All the Jews are talking about it. All the Jews know about it. Because everybody knew about it in 2017. Even though it was just the one guy. But everybody knew to get the stellarium to check them. And so Christians have to now explain it. And so they say, well, the man-child is the Antichrist. Then who's the dragon? And why is he trying to kill the Antichrist? Do you not know how to read context? You just read, say, Matthew chapter 7, the first verse, and then you just assume that's all there is to the context of the whole chapter? And if you have no clue, shame on you. You say it in your public discourse when somebody tells you you're wicked. You can't judge me. Yeah, we can. Read the rest of the chapter. Dear God. And so, yeah, this is sad that Mormons had the inside track to be the authority for the rest of the world. To let them know, we have the truth, the Book of Mormon gives it to us, join our church and be in the know. Nope. Mormons are the last ones to have figured this out. Gospel Lessons finally figured it out years later. The one woman who does videos about how the church is true years later, after everybody else already knew, and then she finally found them on YouTube. After Gospel Lessons finally found it on YouTube. And so then they try to apologize for it. Why the church isn't telling us. Why they kept it a secret from us. Why they purposely did not footnote correctly. It's because the church isn't true. The Book of Mormon is true. Joseph Smith is true. This church isn't true. There's a big difference. And ex-foe Nevermos still to this day can't figure it out. Well, isn't Joseph Smith the founder of Brigham Young's church? Isn't the Book of Mormon the keystone of Brigham Young's church? Brigham Young and his branch off is nothing like Joseph's. Everything is wrong. Everything is different. If you simply checked, you would have figured it out. Nobody does, because people listen to other people and they either believe it or they don't believe it. And so those who leave this church are the ones who say, what I believe you are saying is abominable and I'm leaving. Whereas Mormons stay because it's not abominable, it's true. And so it's that false dichotomy of faith promoting versus doubt promoting. And we see it all over the news. Everything is that false dichotomy argument, contending against each other as to who's right and who's wrong. Just this morning, it was covered by all of the local news, and only one national news covered it. The rest of the nation and the world doesn't care. But the feeds of every local news flooded with the execution of the criminal for his crimes. And yes, there were protesters. We can't kill people. Justice must not be served. The Constitution must be overthrown. Free criminals. Literally, that's what you're saying. You're not protecting life. He didn't protect life. Did you not pay attention to the jury and the whole trial? He brutally murdered that woman. That's why he's on death row. That's why he got executed. That's why he was rejected for all his appeals that delayed justice and thus denied justice. It's bad enough that our court systems are corrupted. But to have somebody who finally is justified in the death penalty, and you've got people trying to destroy America over it. And so you see it with gun control over the Second Amendment. To have guns or not to have guns? That's not the question. That's a false dichotomy argument. The Supreme Court botched it. The Second Amendment is not talking about the citizens' ownership of guns. It's talking about the militia. And we don't have a militia. What happened to the militia? Well, it sort of transformed into the National Guard. But where's the amendment for it? You can't just transition it without an amendment. And so, yeah, it's just, oh my hell. Nobody wants to follow the Constitution. You know, pro-life or pro-choice? Neither. 14th Amendment, Section 1. But SCOTUS overthrew it. LGBTQ, IAPO plus rights. Nope, false dichotomy. 14th Amendment, Section 1. You already had your rights. And yet we went through this whole hassle as to whether or not science is right or not. It was right there in the Constitution, and nobody looked it up. Nobody used it in their arguments. And now SCOTUS has overthrown it. This is what it meant for the ancients in regards to solar eclipses. That's why on the 4th of November 2016, when Fox 13 News Utah had their final segment of the morning to tell us that way next year, rather than talking about the election that's coming in a few days, that there's going to be a total solar eclipse over the whole United States of America on the 21st of August 2017. They didn't even bring it up that was Monson's birthday. But me, because of my education, my experience, my background, my jaw dropped because I knew what it meant. The fall of America. And so I had to quickly rush to get out the publication of the Paleo-Hebrew script, of which just the other year I finally updated it and got the whole thing out, and it's on Academia, so it's free. But as I warned you, Google's upset that they lost the antitrust lawsuit, so they're taking it out on us. Sensitive snowflakes. You know, you're a criminal. You got caught. Own it. Cut it out. Dear God. It's all about money for people. They've got to make money, and to do so, they've got to commit crimes. You cannot be a multi-billionaire, let alone a millionaire, without committing crimes. It's the only way to get that rich. So again, how much money does the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints have? And I'm sure it's all legal, because they're following Jesus. Jesus is telling them to do it. And did Jesus tell Brigham Young to hate blacks, women, and poor people, and those of other faiths, and those of other... You know, you sure you want to go down that path? So this is where people justify wickedness and corruption and holy wars. Is because of the false interpretations. When it's just plain and precious. As a kid, I gagged over that. Now I use it to mock. I've learned. Because mature, as a kid, it pissed me off when people said I needed to be mature. And when I hear movies and TV shows and parents and other adults saying the word mature, it always pissed me off. I never wanted to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. And now they're gone, aren't they? Poor Jeffrey, gone. And so, yeah, I've learned now that I'm an adult to still remain a kid by mocking. And it's the same thing that's gone on since the Brits, where royalty had their ethics, etiquette, to distinguish them from the poor people. And so we have political correctness, and cancel culture, and wokeness. It's all the same crap that originated with the uppity Brits of royalty. It's all just presenting an elitist attitude, and it all needs to be exposed. And it's sad that it takes the other extremism to expose it. There are other options besides extremisms, false dichotomies. Dear God. And so, yeah, all that it's doing is just reinforcing the extremist positions. Still have liberals to this day still pushing woke and mocking the Fox extremists, MAGA extremists, for misinterpreting woke and not understanding its definition and blah, blah, blah. They don't care. It's all... it's all your thing. They're not you. They will never be you. They were born MAGA, they will die MAGA. Nobody cares to know what the truth is. They just watch what they want to watch. They believe what they want to believe. And Mormons don't believe me because they don't believe the Book of Mormon. They don't believe Joseph Smith. They had the inside track to be superior to other people, and they blew it. They're now stupid to other people. Mormons are mocked and laughed at because of their ignorance about Mormonism. People are interviewing Mormons at BYU about how ignorant they are about their own church, about how they're racist because the church is still racist, that they're sexist because the church is still sexist, that the church hates the poor, that the church hates everything because they're a white supremacist Christian nationalist group. That's Brigham Young. It's not Joseph. And Expo never knows because they can't figure out the Book of Mormon. They assume that the Book of Mormon must be an attempt to be literal history, even though they say that Joseph Smith wrote it as a fraud to be filthy rich. Because everybody back then who was an author was filthy rich, lived in a mansion, had a jet and a yacht, and traveled the world. And so Joseph wanted to be a part of that elitist club of rich people. And so why can't you think? What did the church do to you? They made you dumb. You left the church, good for you, but you're still dumb. Because Martin Harris stole the 116 pages. Martin Harris said, I will pay for it if I can be a part of it, and after it's done. Martin Harris didn't post up the money up front. So what is Joseph Smith doing with $2,000, which is the exact amount required to pay for the publication of the Book of Mormon? He's buying a house? Wait a minute, he's buying a house in Susquehanna County, which is no longer called Harmony, for $2,000 from his father-in-law. What's going on? Isn't Joseph Smith on timeout because he didn't take the Book of Mormon seriously? And he's spending the money on a house? I'm still laughing at the Mormon who thought he owned me and proved the church is true. Who linked me to the Joseph Smith papers for that document. Oh, dear God. It was part of the cover-up because they were about to get exposed. They had to distance themselves from the real Harmony north of Pittsburgh because Joseph Smith put all their lives in great danger with Martin Harris's theft. Because if they got exposed before the Book of Mormon gets published, we would never have this warning. You do know the Book of Mormon is a warning. And if it starts off in 2017 and it's a warning, how does the Book of Mormon end again? And again, what is the ending date given by the Book of Mormon for the destruction, utter destruction of you, Mormons? It tells us. Hello? What do you think I've been doing? 2 Nephi, chapter 1, verse 4. I know that Jerusalem is destroyed. Well, when was that date? 9th Av, 586 BCE. The church won't put it in our footnotes. See, I don't even think that Bruce R. McConkie even put that date as a year. Let's check. Maybe I'm wrong. Second Nephi, chapter 1, verse 4. Yep, he doesn't. He says about 588 to 570 BCE. It was 586. Right here at the beginning, it's 586. Everybody knows this date. And Bruce R. McConkie says, oh, it's 2 years earlier. No, it can't be 2 years earlier, Bruce. Because in 597, Nephi is born. And so if you're moving the date up 2 more years, that means at the oldest, Nephi is 8 years of age. 8 years of age, and he goes back to Jerusalem, slays Laban with the sword, and fools Zoram into believing he's Laban. 8 years old. 8. God. Nobody thinks about this stuff. As a kid, I figured it out. Because I read the Book of Mormon and I go, Nephi's not listed in those who leave with Lehi. Why isn't Nephi listed? The cartoon shows Nephi as an adult. But he's not born. Nobody thinks. They just purposely remove information that they don't agree with. You can't do that. That makes you stupid in the eyes of those who can read and comprehend what they read. And so, yeah, the literal history exposes the church. But there's a reason why. Because of the authors that are writing this. Sidney Rigdon and Senior had to rewrite the 116 pages. And so Senior knows this date. That's why the Joseph Smith translation, moved verse 5 to verse 3 in Revelation 12. Lehi's second vision, which is an exact same pattern match for Joseph Smith's second vision. So guess what date he's talking about for utter destruction? And you're not making the clues. You're not putting them together. Lehi receives a book about utter destruction. Joseph Smith receives the Book of Mormon about utter destruction. And so, 23rd September 2017, I come forward doing videos using the Book of Mormon to warn you of utter destruction. And you can't figure it out because you're stuck on Jesus. September 2017 just destroys Christianity and Islam and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Just utterly destroys it. And it puts the Jews back into the forefront where they belong. Because they wrote the scriptures. They gave us the dates. And Constantine, with his creation of Christianity, bleeped it all up. And here Mormons are, just utterly humiliated and hoping that all of this has gone away, that nobody will remember that Mormons were stupid and got played by their prophets, self-proclaimed titles. You got used by this church, Mormons. We've been abused by this church, Mormons. This church is the enemy. The Book of Mormon exposes them, gives you the dates of when they're going to attack America. And they did it, and they're doing it, and they failed in 2020, but here they go again. And here's 9th Ave. Those who were righteous in 2020 should have left with me, and you didn't. I parted the waters, and you still wouldn't believe. And I had that one person who said, "It didn't happen. It didn't happen." What do you mean it didn't happen? Fox 13 News Utah reported it happened. What are you talking about? And then a Christian the other day, "None of this has happened." What are you talking about? It's all happened. Nelson fell. I did my whole video series. Oh my hell. This is the blindness that Constantine caused. And now we're all doomed. And so yes, still my warning voice. 9th Ave. Because what is 9th Ave? It's the destruction of both temples. It's the removal of the Jews from their land. And so now we're waiting for Iran. And they still haven't attacked, last I heard. When are they going to attack? Oh no, keeping it a secret. Islam knows about 9th Ave, guys. They know the meaning of it. What are Israel or Islam chanting all over the world? Get out of our land. It's the Jews' land. And so they purposely named it Palestine, because that came from the Sea People, who called it Philistia, the Philistines. They can't even name the land after something of their language. They had to steal it from the Sea People because of the meaning of it. The Sea People invaded Israel's land, the Jews' land of Judah, and occupied it. And now they're claiming that it's Islam's land and that the Jews have invaded and occupied the land and need to go. But they're using the occupier's name for their land of Gaza. And apparently none of Islam even knows. Maybe they do. But regardless, Islam wants the Jews out. And so what better day to do it than the day that has been the most common and that the Jews have a remembrance day of every single year since 70 CE. As they were chased around Europe all these centuries, never allowed to own land ever again. And then finally, after World War II, with the help of the United States of America, they got their land back, sort of. Yeah, that 6 Days War and other incidences. That's the land for the Jews. And so, yes, there is a great danger that 9th Ave will be the attack. And it starts on Monday at 6 p.m. in Israel time. And so they're 9 hours ahead of us. And so at 6 p.m., that would be 9 a.m. on Monday. That's when you need to pay attention to the news that day for retaliation of Holocaust level. Because all this time they've allowed Israel to do their attacks, to victimize the Islamists in that land, to turn the whole world against Israel, to forget October 7th. And Biden is putting America in jeopardy. As he's been flip-flopping the whole time, but nonetheless, he now has sent our fleet. They've arrived. And so, yeah, it's going to need to be a massive strike by Iran in coordination with Hezbollah and Hamas, which is what the setup was, to have the Hamas political leader go to Iran, because they knew that they go into a hospital with the hostages. Israel attacked the hospital, and then Israel gets blamed. How dare you attack a hospital? Our hostages were here. We needed to free them. Hamas was hiding here. You're the enemy, hiding them. And the press refuses to get it. Everybody has turned on Israel. They don't want Israel to be free, to have the land. And so you think America is going to be left alone? Do you think any nation that supports Israel is going to be left alone on 9th Ave? Do you think Islam are stupid that they can't read the Book of Mormon and know what 2nd Nephi chapter 1 verse 4 means and the date that it gives? Do you not think they know that despite the church claiming to be Christian, that it's talking about the Jews? Do you not think Islam knows? Do you honestly think we're just like Islam? Because the church put out a pamphlet and have been paying for business deals with government and religious leaders to cause the war against Israel? Just like they did with Russia to attack Ukraine? Ezekiel 38, chapter headings by Bruce R. McConkie. Do not get led as a lamb to the slaughter. You can't be a couch potato and expect that all will be well in Zion and that you won't be affected. The church purposely made you a couch potato to destroy you, to use you as the sacrificial lambs so that the church can cry to the federal government, "We're victims, pay us and compensate us for our loss." They're multi-trillionaires. What do they need to be compensated for, especially when they paid to have it done to them? So that they can get their kingdom back. So that they can vilify America for not protecting them. They are getting desperate. Nelson has been failing. He wants a victory. 2 years before 2020's election, Nelson says, "In the coming days, Jesus," and failed. And so in 2022, 2 years before the election, here we go again. "In the coming days." He repeated it. Alrighty. YouTube has been on a tear, keeping my videos from people and people not wanting to watch. And so I'm not sure, and it's most likely a mixture of everything involved. But clearly people are uncomfortable with Ninth Ave. They don't understand it, they can't get it, they're illiterate, they can't read the thumbnail picture. And it's humiliating because, as I've got 9 pictures out of more that's on YouTube, I had to keep one off of a set of 3 because there wasn't enough room on the... But yeah, it can keep on stretching. Everybody did a video about this. Even SNL did a skit about it. People were doing songs about the man-child, not just me. Which was how I was able to do mine. And so I'm assuming it is. It's only 42 seconds. But, yeah, we'll put it up in the video to see what it was. But understand, I knew in advance, guys. Was letting you know. And I should do that picture. I need to make that picture of Lehigh with September 2017. And then Joseph Smith with 2017. And then me, 2017. But it's too complicated for Mormons. They don't understand. What meaneth these videos, Travis? These are hard for us to understand. You've never even read the Book of Mormon and you're fulfilling its prophecies of wickedness. Because you say, a quad, we have a quad and we need no more quad. And you don't know what you're saying. You say, you can't judge me. Oh my God. You just expose yourselves as stupid. And it's humiliatingly hilarious. And I'm not the kind of guy that likes that kind of Hollywood humor. Those kinds of comedians are like, oh my God, they're just too much. I can't watch this. This is just too stupid that it's not even funny anymore. Nobody can be that stupid. Join the church today. Why, Mormons? Why? Okay. So yeah, I hope it's not because you're stupid, but because you're knowingly the Danites who are causing all this. And you think that the church is true as a Danite, that you know that Joseph Smith is a Jew, and that the Book of Mormon is Jewish. It's the only other way out for you. You're either extremist wicked or you're extremist stupid. You can choose. You have your agency to choose.